just the vibe of the band was incredible. And I remember when Jesse came back, a lot of people were really, really excited about that. But I love the era of Howard. And I know you've done some stuff with him, and it seems like everybody in the band stayed friends, Is it nice to have that option of having a fandom with two different singers?
Yeah, it's we feel very lucky. Sorry, my cats.
It's okay. We love cats and dogs on this podcast.
He decided to jump up and start smashing his face against the computer. So,
the amount of animal-related disturbances we've had on this show is incredible.
They know when you're busy, and they can get involved with something.
Welcome back to the Rockman Power Hour, a podcast where we talk to the most interesting people in the world of pop culture and everything in between. And this is our first episode of 2025. So welcome back. We took a bit of a break over the holidays, and we are firing on all cylinders and cannot wait to give you this great episode this week. But before we go too far, let's thank our friends at Heartbeat Hot Sauce, the heartbeat of the Rockman Power Hour. Use our promo code Rockman20 and get 20% off every time you order. And an incredible company out of Thunder Bay, Ontario. If you've not tried Heartbeat Hot Sauce, you don't know what you are missing. And I can tell you something else. If you haven't tried Ryan's Stick, then you really don't know what you're missing. Ryan, get in here.
If you want to have good taste, try Ryan.
Listen, I'm very, very happy that we were back. We took a bit of a break over the holidays. I think the last time we were here, we were talking with Melissa Oftemar and Sam Roberts together. Life gets busy around the holidays. And I know for you,
so busy.
Yeah, man. I know, especially for you, if people don't know, you're a big Halloween and a big Christmas fan. And at your house, two of the highlights of the year are your Halloween party, which you do, and then you have your Christmas party. And that was amazing, your Christmas party this year. It was like you guys brought it to like a whole other level.
Yeah, unfortunately, I ran myself a little too ragged, and then
you weren't feeling well for a while, right?
No, on Christmas Eve, I couldn't go to my friends because I was, ill. I got this crazy cold, and then Christmas Day, couldn't hang out with the family. But at the same time, there's this whole feeling of FOMO where you're like, oh my God, I can't do this. But then again, I was really reflecting upon the last year and accomplishments of not only the podcast, but like just the generosity of people we know and them putting us in incredible positions, such as John, who plays with NoFX. I was thinking, it's Christmas Day and I'm not hanging out with my family. However, we watched the last NoFX show twice in a row, the last NoFX Montreal shows, from the back of the stage. Like, we did amazing things this year, incredible things. That I'll take a little bit of bad luck with health-wise during the holiday season, and in turn just experience this incredible year we had. Really,
I think that's one of the nicest things about having photos and reminders and having all that readily available at your fingertips. Everyone complains about phones and about technology, but I think the nicest things is the reminders and how you're able to reflect, through photos, through videos, through, social media posts from, reminders, this day and whatever. You get to really reflect. And I think sometimes when you are having a bit of a down, maybe a down moment, or if you're not feeling great, use that as a time to reflect. And I know for us, like, we go through so much in a year. Sometimes it's going and we're always like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? So when you have some time to pause and reflect, it's kind of nice.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that we did this year that I completely forgot about. Yeah. And then other things where, like, once again, when you're looking, because, happy late birthday. You had a birthday.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And as a result, I'm looking through some photos being like, okay, well, you usually put your heart on your sleeve and make these amazing birthday posts for me that I can never live up to. So here I am coming off my cold, trying to think, oh God, what can I write that really matters? And I'm looking through all the photos and I'm just like, holy shit, we met Billy Talent from Hardcore Logo.
Yeah, I know.
This is crazy.
I know. I know.
What a year this was. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good one, and 2025 is promising to be really good as well. I know we're with the Comic-Con crew, because people don't know, you and I work with a lot of Comic-Cons in Canada, and we're going to be going to Orlando with the Comic-Con crew. Super excited about that. We're going to go to MegaCon, and the Breakfast Club cast is going to be there. And I'm like, man, I never thought in my wildest dreams I would meet Judd Nelson and Molly Ringwald and Ali Sheedy. And, I've met Anthony Michael Hall before, but I never thought in a million years that like there would be an opportunity to see all of them in the same place. And it's mind blowing, dude. It's mind blowing,
Yeah. It's so mind blowing. I didn't put it on the right button. It's absolutely mind blowing. And I don't know. I'm very grateful, but at the same time, I've always thought about this. It's kind of like, I love the possibility. I think that's my favorite thing in the world is anticipation and possibility. It's not even living what you're anticipating. It's just looking forward to the next chapter.
Yeah.
I think that's the real key, because I'm excited to know. Once again, beautiful gift from my sister. She gave me this incredible rig for a phone that has this attachment with a light and everything.
Yeah, I saw that. I saw you sent me a photo of that. It looks amazing.
And I'm thinking, whenever Patrick or Marco or any of our Rob or any of our guys are helping us out when we're doing this amazing coverage of all these festivals, it's really interesting that I know that it's kind of like a hard deal to hold all this stuff. So the fact that it's going to be so compact, I'm so excited to do more work just because I know we're going to be more efficient about it. And I think that's the real key to this business too, is that saying, if you are looking forward to just the technical aspects of pulling it off and not just the self-granulization of feeling like, saying on social media, look what I did. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if social media knows what I did. I just want to do it well.
Yeah, no, yeah. I agree. And when you have, when you can upgrade what you have around you and like makes your life a little bit easier, 100%.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, 2025 promises to be a pretty cool year. I want to just take a second to give somebody a shout out for Christmas. I mean, I got some great Christmas gifts. You got some great Christmas gifts, but my son gave me a Christmas gift, which was amazing. And, I was kind of so taken aback when he gave it to me that I think my reaction, sometimes you get something from somebody and you're like, you're just kind of floored, but you don't, and then you wonder if your reaction was, because this is pressure sometimes on giving people gifts, and you know how that stuff goes.
Mel is such yeah, I know what you're saying. Melissa is such a receiver. She will be like, here's some socks. Oh my God.
Yeah.
These are the greatest socks in the world. And I feel like I under-deliver because I was like that little jackass kid. I'm like, oh, Nintendo, cool. And meanwhile, my parents are like, we fought off an army of soccer moms to get you this fucking Power Ranger.
Yes. Well, that
little shit.
So my son ended up giving me a really, really cool gift. And I think I might have underreacted because I was kind of not in shock, but I was just like, whoa, this is crazy. So I want to show it to you because I know you're going to appreciate this, being the big Batman fan that you are.
Oh, sick.
Right?
Oh, is that Lego?
The Lego Batmobile. Look at this.
Oh, he loves you. Lego is fucking expensive.
Well, he works at the Lego store, right? That's his job.
Does not matter. Even at a
no. But it's not that. It's just that I was just like, whoa, man! I didn't expect to get this. So I'm going to build this soon, and I'm looking forward to it. This is so cool. I mean, look at that.
Dude, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
I love the fact that Adam West is just getting his due. Unfortunately, he was fortunate enough to see it in the last few years of his life where all of a sudden, like, nobody was shitting on the blue and gray happy Batman.
Oh, it's the best. That's to me, that's my favorite Batman. I mean,
yeah.
And that was another thing over the holidays. I was looking through photos and I found that photo of you when you dressed up like Adam West Batman and came to my house, and my kids thought you were like, we said Santa can't come, but we got Batman. And my daughter was like, what? Priya was like, wow, Batman's in our house. And I remember I drove you,
and he's out of shape.
I drove you to the subway, and I remember you even like you committed to like running out of the car as Batman down the stairs, and she was like, I can't believe Batman came to our house. We had to drive him to the metro. I think
that was a walk of shame to get home on another level, actually.
I can't imagine. That must have been interesting. But hey, listen. Okay, look, let's tell everybody who's going to be on the show this week, because we're kicking off 2025 in style, and we have got none other than Justin, the drummer of the band Killswitch Engage. The new album is coming out on February 21st, called This Consequence, on Metal Blade Records, and the tour is going to be happening in the month of March. And I'm excited to be joined by Justin of Killswitch Engage. Let's talk about this new record that's coming out February 21st. You guys are going to be hitting the road. How does it feel to be gearing up again and to be going back out with Killswitch for the upteenth time?
Yeah. Is that all? Upteenth?
Well, I mean, it's been. I mean, you have been going. I mean, the band's been going since 2000. I know you joined a little bit later on, but what I love about this band is this band just keeps going. This band keeps growing, even if there's singer changes and there's personnel changes. The band has this heart that obviously is fueled by the members, but it's also fueled by the fans, and you can feel that being in this band for as long as you've been in the band. Is exciting for you to the prospect of putting something into the world again, as new music, and then getting back out on the horse and going back out on the road? How does that feel for you right now?
Yeah, it's great. And you mentioned the fans, and that is definitely the driving force of going out and touring, for sure, is to play the songs in front of people. And that's like the highlight of being a musician, is the stage, the energy, being in front of people and playing music and getting those reactions that we've been fortunate enough to get for so many years now. It's pretty amazing.
It's, I remember, I think it was back in probably 2001. I used to play in a band that toured quite a bit. And I remember we did a string of shows with you guys. It was right before you had joined, but I remember, Howard was in the band, and just the vibe of the band was incredible. And I remember when Jesse came back, it was, a lot of people were really, really excited about that, but I love the era of Howard. And I know you've done some stuff with him, and it seems like everybody in the band stayed friends. Is it nice to have that option of having a fandom with two different singers?
Yeah, we feel very lucky. Sorry, my cats.
It's okay. We love cats and dogs on this podcast.
He decided to jump up and start smashing his face against the computer. So,
the amount of animal-related disturbances we've had on this show is incredible.
They know when you're busy, and they can get involved with something. So he's come around. Hey, you're going to come around? You're going to put yourself over here, Steve? You got at least now.
Cat's name's Steve.
He's got to at least say hi now.
Right,
yeah, he's a good guy.
I love when animals have human names. It's not like like Punky, or it's like Steve.
I love it when humans have animal names.
Anyway, what were we saying? Oh,
yeah, we're talking about the cool. Not a lot of bands get away with this, but you guys have been able to have fandoms with two incredible singers, and two singers that people appreciate both eras of that band. And it's almost like you look at what's going on with 3 Days Grace, and I know it's very different types of music, but them going out with two singers and the fans celebrating that, I think that's really, really cool.
It is a unique situation for sure, and we've been lucky. And I mean, they're both great, and they both have done fantastic jobs with the band and have written wonderful songs that it's been a lucky situation. It was pretty scary going back into it because, like you mentioned, there aren't a whole lot of really big success stories with multiple singers, and a singer is something that people are drawn to because it's kind of like the most personal thing coming out of the music is the voice and everything. So you definitely understand why people would have attachments to a certain voice, or whatever it is, a certain singer. So that was definitely a weird situation and a little nerve-wracking when we were going back to Jesse, and not because we were doubting Jesse, just because you just never know. You never know what people are going to do. But obviously, it worked out terrifically. And being able to do Alive or Just Breathing, it just sort of worked out. We were lucky. It was right around the 10-year anniversary of the record, so we could kind of do a thing to sort of ease him back into the band and do something that was kind of comfortable and that we knew was going to be a good fit. And we knew there was going to be interest in it for sure.
Right.
And that was also real fun from my perspective, since I wasn't on that record. I got to almost feel like, I got to feel like the fan that goes to a show and drummer's sick today. Does anyone know the songs? I do. And
Yeah,
I'd go up there. I could go up there and play them and kind of almost like a fan. So that was a real fun thing to do from my perspective too.
In the background of you, there's almost a fox and a hound situation happening with your dog and your cat. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, Lily came by. I saw her. Lily, come on. Here she comes. Lily, good girl.
Hi, Lily.
You want to say hi? This is turning into a whole animal thing.
I love it.
Oh my God. Lily, come here.
Oh, wow.
What a gorgeous dog.
Hey, Lily.
Yeah, she's a little sweetheart.
Is that an Australian Shepherd?
We don't know. She's some kind of collie mix of some sort that we she was out somehow. This wonderful dog ended up in a shelter like a mile from her house. So we got her. And she loves the cats. She's a real sweetheart.
Both Ryan and I are big advocates for rescues, and we've rescued.
Actually, I'm wearing a shirt. Yeah. I love my dog. I have a new dog, Fozzie. He's wonderful, but he loves his mom, and he likes me okay. But my dog before
Fox
worshipped the ground I walked on. He followed me everywhere. I've never felt love like that in my life, and he was a rescue. And my sister for Christmas gave me this T-shirt.
Oh, awesome!
Immortalizing the little fella, and every time I look at it, I feel a sense of nostalgia and sadness, but also happiness. I even experienced him in my life at all.
Yeah.
So,
absolutely.
It's crazy the attachments we have in animals and stuff. And my wife and I, we rescued a dog from we're in Montreal, so up north for us is up north. I mean, it's really it's fucking.
We're talking cool. Santa Claus shit.
Yeah. So there's this community. I think it's called Waxo-Sawippi. I can never pronounce it, but it's a community that's really, really, really up north, and they have so many street dogs, and they just don't have, they don't have the means, they don't have the care for them. So there's this organization called Shane Dick, and what they do is they go up there and they'll round up the street dogs, they'll sterilize the moms that are the dogs that are getting impregnated, and they'll try to keep the population spayed or neutered, like Bob Barker used to say. But and then they'll rescue all the little puppies. So during COVID, we had lost our 14-year-old dog. And it was really tragic. And then we got a call from this organization. They were like, "We know you lost your dog. And we have these little Nordic dogs that are mixed with whatever. They're like Heinz 57s. They're just, they're whatever the secret sauce is. We don't know what's in them, but they're beautiful." And we got to adopt this puppy. So yeah, adopting is great. But anyways, listen, this new record is, I got a chance to stream about half of it because I got it pretty late last night from your publicist. But I mean, for me, the first single was great. Got to live with that for a bit, and I think that this band has, not only does this band have a sound and have an attitude, but there's always a little bit of something that kind of changes with this band from record to record and progresses a bit. And I found on that first single, some of the, just the chorus harmonies and stuff, and just the melody in that. Like, I love the fact that you guys aren't shying away from that. And because I know a lot of bands will be like, we don't want to be too melodic. We don't want to stray away from our hardcore fans that might take offense to that. But as songwriters, and I know with you guys, I mean, I know your main songwriter, I've gotten to talk to him many times, and he's not only is he a character, but he's all about real songs. And I love the fact that there's some real hard attacks to melody on this where you're not shying away from it at all. And I always love talking to drummers because they get this unique perspective where they're behind. So they really get to see the entire thing happening, especially live, from a completely different perspective. I mean, it's a completely unique perspective. When you get on stage and you've got this, this front line in front of you that aren't afraid to push the boundaries a bit. What is that like for you?
We never really, we know what we do well as a band, and we aren't going to reject the things that we do really well as a band. I mean, we know that people like us for certain reasons. We know what our strengths are, but we also don't want to do our strengths over and over again and just bludgeon people with our strengths. We want to do new stuff. We want to try some different things, and we're always trying to do that on our albums, because we always have. we have different musical tastes between the five of us, and we try to, combine all of it together. And on this record, I think we have some stuff that is definitely very typical of us, but also some stuff that isn't typical. And the challenge is getting that boundary or getting that balance correct, I think.
Yeah, because on Forever Aligned, you really feel that you feel it's Killswitch doing what Killswitch does well, but that that chorus melody is so good, and it's so memorable.
Yeah, and like the beginning is a little different, heavier, maybe like a heavy, different kind of thing than I think we would normally do. But then again, like you mentioned, the chorus, it sounds a little more familiar. So just sort of taking something that that kind of sounds like us and expanding it to with whatever the intro part is or anything like that is just something that we always try to do. So we don't want to get bored. We don't want our fans to get bored. We want to keep going. And we want to keep doing things interesting. And it's been a very long time and so many years that we've been lucky to do this. So hopefully we can still find ways to do it. I think I don't know how much of it you heard, but there are definitely some songs that are a little weird.
Yeah, no. Yes, there was, and I like I mentioned Adam's a character, and but what a nice guy, just like what a sweetheart of a guy. But if you see him on stage, and I remember seeing this band for the first time, and I was like, this guy doesn't fit with what's going on in the music. I mean, he's running around. He's got this little cape on. I don't know if he still does that, but it was like literally, Ryan, have you seen Killswitch before?
I have not had the benefit of seeing Killswitch live, but I've been very familiar with their music for years because of the WWE, ironically.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Howard and Mike, big drivers, and then that, yeah. What did you want to ask about?
Oh, I just wanted to say, have you actually ever met CM Punk? Because he used your song as his theme song for years, and a theme song and a wrestler are synonymous with each other. Like, I know you guys weren't playing Real American by Hulk Hogan or anything, for Hulk Hogan or anything, but this was still in an era of wrestling when the characters were still very serious, and the music was, kind of set the tone to the character that the wrestler is coming out, and the song is amazing. And it's actually really, really cool that it was so embraced, but multiple songs by you have been embraced by the WWE for pay-per-views and other things. And also wrestlers from all different smaller organizations have used the song as well. So it's very cool. Have you ever met CM Punk, and have you ever been to one of the matches?
I have not been to any of the matches, but that song was gigantic for us. And I know that some of the other guys have met him. I honestly don't remember. I want to say maybe one time he popped into a dressing room once real quick, but I honestly don't remember. But yeah, that song, I mean, Mike and Howard are big wrestling fans, and we're thrilled to do that song. And Howard just hit that chorus out of the park. I mean, grand slam chorus. So so that one really worked out well. And we do play I Am a Real American every time we cross the border from Canada to the US on the bus, and we just put it on. We put it on repeat and just have it on the bus. So whenever the agents come up, they get that song. Kind of a tradition.
Is it? I was again going back to Adam's, Adam's character and personality, and I'm sure you guys have a lot of fun on the road, and I think that's one of the things that people don't get. If you've never been a part of a band, or if you've never been part of a sports team or a gang, of people that travel together, spend a lot of time together, there's the inside jokes that develop. There's the camaraderie. There's the absolute disdain and hate for each other sometimes, because you're living in such close, especially for you guys in bands that you're literally on a rolling fucking tube where you're stuck together. There's not a lot of room in bunks. But there is this thing that's almost like another language that develops. So when you share something like, playing Real American, I know whenever we would go into another state or into another province, we would have this certain honk that we would do. And I'll be traveling with my wife, through state to state or into another province, and she'll be driving and I'll lean over and I'll do that, that syncopated honk, like da, 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 da. And she's like, why do you do that every time? I'm like, it's just part of this thing that I did for years. Yeah. So, does that kind of stuff spill over into your real life, where you'll say something to maybe a partner or a friend that has nothing to do with music, and they're like, what are you talking about? And you're like, oh man, I'm not with the Killswitch guys.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, absolutely. It's not real life out there. It really isn't real life. and then when you come back to when you come back home in real life and you go to hang out with civilized people and you're just like, oh yeah, I gotta remember I'm in the real world right now, which is just, and I feel like I'm almost think we like each other too much, because I feel like bands that hate each other have made some historically great music. And I
Yeah.
feel like we need to start hating each other, and maybe we're missing out on something. We're holding ourselves back from what we could accomplish musically if we only hated each other a little more. And maybe we could really do something great.
No, but it's so nice to hear bands that, and we have talked to, we've talked to a lot of bands that, have had issues over the years, but I think a lot of people that know your band know that you guys really do like each other, and it's funny that this almost seems like that next wave of metal bands that came after, because you guys were kind of like right on the cusp of Pantera coming to an end. And you guys kind of came up, was like, you guys, I remember there was you guys, there was Lamb of God, there's like this new wave of metal that kind of were taking the mantle for bands like Pantera that were kind of like on their last, on their downswing. But it seemed to be a much healthier environment for, you know what I mean? And maybe it was because people were, I don't know, because like a lot of bands from that era before you guys, there were really, really vicious breakups. There was a lot of hate between band members, but there seems to be, like the Lamb of God guys too, like they really seem to like each other. And it's nice when you get, this newer generation of bands that tend to have just a bit more respect, or maybe, I don't know, maybe they're clearer with their boundaries. Maybe they spent more time in therapy, but it's nice to hear.
I honestly think iPhones have helped that though. Cause when I was in a band and everyone was pissing each other off later on, and I, got an iPhone and my own laptop and a sense of independence, I messaged them up. I'm like, guys, I think we would have gone along a lot better if I just had this going on, because I was just attached at the hip. We're in Japan. There's no reception. If I lose them, I lose everyone.
Right.
But, with technology and independence, I think maybe that's helped people. Maybe you don't have to be as down each other's throats anymore. Do you find that as that help?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, yeah, you can totally go off on your own so much easier.
Yeah.
You can really just sort of do whatever you want. And you can't really get lost, So maybe that has something to do with it. I mean, I really don't know. I hadn't really thought about that before, but you make an interesting point. Maybe for whatever reason, a lot of people that are in bands that are still going that are my age, like the bands that you mentioned, wherever we came from when we were starting, I don't know what it was about that environment, but it just seems to have led to a little bit less of the intense high stakes trauma, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never really thought about that before, but yeah, you kind of make a good point about it.
Well, I remember being on Ozfest with Pantera and, going by one of those little trailers that they had set up, and like literally a chair flying through the fucking window, and Zakk Wylde had thrown it, and, him and Dimebag were just tearing that place apart. And it was just, I guess it was a different time.
Were they having a chair throwing contest? Maybe
they were probably doing something like that,
okay.
But not, and I know that, bands, every band who spends a lot of time on the road, there's antics that happen and stuff, but it just seems like it's a much nicer environment backstage now than it used to.
For whatever reason, it seems like the whole idea of being a destructive rock star to us was a huge turnoff.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like that's not something any of us wanted to do. I wasn't a fan of like the hair metal, glam kind of ego hair metal stuff. I personally wasn't a fan of that stuff, and it just seemed like the whole kind of check me out, let's go smash stuff and everything. It was never something I was into. It didn't seem like a staple of the Connecticut hardcore scene.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't really something that I was drawn towards. So
no. And the hardcore scene was, especially the East Coast hardcore scene was very different. Like that, you would have been called out for stuff like that. Like someone would have punched you in the face and said, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Yeah. So maybe that had something to do with it.
Yeah, and I think that especially the hardcore scenes, like there's so much more of a community vibe. It's like let's not push each other down, let's bring each other up, and that's probably what leaked into a lot of the the attitude in your band. I want to ask you about drumming, because you are probably in the unique situation where you will actually spend time in a studio more than some other band members, maybe, because a lot of it starts with you, right? Like when you guys, I imagine when you guys are building tracks, you're building it from drums and then you record over that.
Yeah,
Is that
exactly.
so you get to actually spend some time in a live room or in a recording room versus a lot of people that might, will be able to not phone it in, but we'll be able to bring something, send something in. Is
Almost
that
literally phone it in? I mean, you probably could.
No, but you know what I mean? Like it
Yes,
still
I know what
starts
you mean.
with you being in a live room, like, and you guys are still doing that, right? Like you're setting up and you're getting your drums in a live room.
Yes, we did the drums in San Diego at Signature Sounds, the same place we've done the last 2 records.
Nice.
Yes, it is. I'm the only one that's really kind of still going to the recording studio. The whole,
which is kind of cool.
The glamour of going to a recording.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got to go to the studio and lay down some tracks. Like,
Do you prefer that, or do you prefer the old days when all the rest of the band would be watching you play? Essentially, do you prefer the isolation where, like, there's not a magnifying glass on it?
Oh, there is a magnifying glass. Adam D's magnifying glass is the biggest magnifying glass of all time.
I was going to say Adam's. I can't imagine what I would not think.
Is.
Yeah, I don't think playing drums for Adam would be necessarily a comfortable situation if you don't have your shit together.
Yeah, and even if you do,
yeah,
even if you think you're ready, you realize very quickly that you're not ready. So
yeah. He's special, man. But I think the fact that you guys have an Adam is what makes this band so incredible.
Oh yeah, he's a huge asset. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't mean to imply.
No. I know, but still, but so when you're leading up to setting up, are you like, oh fuck, Adam's gonna fucking drill me?
It's not my favorite thing to do. The studio is not exactly my favorite atmosphere for playing. I'll take live a million times out of a million.
I was going to say, so for you, it's more of the live experience. Like, so you're probably really excited about what's coming.
Yeah, I don't want to dwell on all my faults and all the wrong notes.
Yeah.
You play them live, you play them and they're gone. The instant you do it, they're gone and they're never back again. And it's just out there in the universe, and you don't have to worry about it anymore. But it's tracked.
Does he ever James Brown you? Or apparently James Brown, like the entire band, if they made a mistake, he'd kind of spin around, do a little thing, and point at them and fine them like $1,000 for missing a note.
Live, no way.
Okay,
no way.
Too much going on.
Oh man, we would have, if we were finding each other for missing notes. we would be so deeply in debt. It would be unbelievable.
You guys
whatever show guarantee you could dream of that a band would get, we would probably blow through it in about 2 songs.
What are some of the things that you like to do outside of music? Like what in terms of hobbies? Like I know you're an animal lover. We learned that, but what are some things that you like to do when you're not on the road? Or even when you're on the road, but like me, if you go to a certain city, it's like, are you someone that likes to take in, like, a football game? Are you a sports fan? Like, are you a nerd where you go to Comic-Cons? Like, what is your kind of your hobby or one of them?
Yeah, I am a sports fan. The baseball stadiums are some of my favorite things to do on the road, or go to baseball games. Trying to check off all the stadiums, go to a bunch of minor league games too. It's just really fun thing to do. A lot of times when we get the touring routing, we'll put it against baseball schedules to figure out what games we can make.
Nice.
That's a big one for sure. Being outside a lot. I like just being out in the outdoors and like walking around and hiking and climbing up, trails and stuff like that. That's pretty much what I spend most of my time on, and petting cats and dogs, going outside and walking around and watching sports is pretty much it. Reading, I'm doing a lot more reading lately too. So that's
what are you reading?
I just finished another Stephen King book. I'm reading tons of King books. I read one. I can't remember the author's name, but it was one that our guitar tech Josh actually recommended that he likes a lot. It was the Southern Book Club's Guide to Killing Vampires, something like that.
Okay.
That was a fun one. I've been reading a lot more over the last year or years, and I feel like I'm really ramping it up now.
Are you able to, or like, are you a traditional reader in terms of like reading on paper, or do you have a Kindle, or are you an audiobook guy?
Both Kindle and on paper. Audiobooks for like super long drives.
Right.
Sometimes. but that's about the only time I'll really get into an audiobook. But other than that, yeah, either a normal old fashioned book or Kindle. I like them both.
Are you a movie guy? Do you keep up with on what's coming out?
No, not so much really. Not a ton of movies, not too many TV shows. There's a few TV shows that I watched that I was really into, but like not like a lot really.
Well, what are the few ones that you were into, though? I like asking questions like this because I feel like I'm learning about somebody's soul. It's like, so what? Because I don't like baseball at all. However, I love baseball movies, documentaries, anything cinematically related to baseball. I think baseball is one of the greatest sports in existence because it lends itself to movies so well. Because when something important happens, it's so important. Like I think The Sandlot is one of the greatest movies that ever existed, and there's not even really any stakes in that movie besides an autographed Babe Ruth baseball. There's no big game to win, but it's just about what baseball meant to them as just in spirit of the game of baseball and what it means to them.
You like you're saying the big game, like so many movies like that will have the big game, like Major League has the big game at the end.
Yeah,
for sure,
and that kind of thing. But yeah, you're right about that. How it's not like it doesn't have some big sport event really. It's just tied in through baseball. Kind of like Field of Dreams is a baseball movie too, and it's kind of like that same kind of thing. I think Naked Gun is a baseball movie because the baseball scene in Naked Gun is the greatest. Greatest 15 minutes of comedy in the history of television and movies.
But I mean, if we're talking about baseball, and it's funny because I'm not a big baseball fan. I'm more of a football fan. And I like combat sports, but the single greatest baseball show ever is this, and I always have this next to me. If you're not a Kenny Powers fan, have you watched Eastbound and Down?
Almost all of it. I haven't seen like the last season and maybe like a little bit of the end of the one before that, but yeah, I watched most of it. It's great.
I think Kenny Powers is my spirit animal. I think he's the guy that says everything that I want to say. And if ever anything comes down around you, like your world comes crashing down, revisiting that show is the greatest thing you can do for your soul. It just makes you feel good.
Comedies would be a thing that I would watch when it comes to TV. Like
sure,
Always Sunny. I just watch them over and over and over and over and over.
Great,
again.
So good. So, and it's funny, my son got me into that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I kind of missed the boat on it. I'm a little older, and my 20-year-old son was like, "Dad, have you watched almost?" It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And I'm like, no. And he's like, you got to watch this. And I started watching. I was like, holy shit, how did I miss this? He's like, yeah, Dad. He goes, they get away with so much stuff on this show.
That's great.
Yeah, it really is.
My friend Shayna and Crystal showed me an episode, I don't know, I want to say like 13 years ago. It's been on so long where I thought I was late, and it was about 4 seasons in at that point, 4 or 5 seasons in. And I think it was an episode where they were trying to leave Philly to go on a road trip. And it took me aback by how bad of people they were.
Yeah. Oh, no.
And then you realize like, oh my God, this show's brilliant. But it takes a second, you know?
Yeah.
It takes a second to really kind of get over them and be like, wait, what?
But I'm pretty sure though, I mean, Danny DeVito is like the biggest star on the show, obviously, and he's done so much in his career. But I'm pretty sure the reason Danny DeVito exists is so we could be on stage with with a bunch of girls in a beauty pageant wearing corpse makeup. They're all taller than him. Yeah,
and he looked like the penguin from Batman Returns.
Yeah, that scene is just like insane. When he dies, there should be a television where he's buried that is just scrolling that on repeat, and then everyone's like, "Oh, that's who's there. Cool, awesome."
I know.
Danny DeVito is such a fascinating career because when you think of it, he starts off with, he is in some films, but notably he gets famous on Taxi. So he's this famous sitcom actor. And then through the mid 80s and all the 90s and, the early 2000s too, he's a film actor and he's a director and he gets famous that way.
Yeah.
And then now it's comes full circle. And now he's like one of the biggest TV stars again. So fascinating career.
And he's been playing this character for so much longer than anything else that he's ever done.
Yeah, no, I know. It's
miles. So it's like really.
And a crazy thing, being a music fan, a lot of people don't know this, but he's one of his best friends is Mike Patton from Faith No More.
And they have they've snuck Faith No More into the show.
I know.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great.
The first time I heard that, I was just like, it's a Being Frank episode, and he's driving around, and the Digging a Grave is on in his car in the radio, and I was like,
this is so cool. I know. I love it. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat today, man.
Sure.
Continued success. Looking forward to the new record, and looking forward to seeing you out on the road, and keep being a great animal lover, because we need more of them in the world.
Yeah, I think we're at capacity right now. 4 cats and a dog is a lot, but
and
like
I
you
guess
were talking about rescue, that one of the cats is from. We have 2 fast food cats. One of them's from Chick-fil-A parking lot, and the other one's from the Wendy's parking lot.
Aww.
I love that.
Hopefully they're happy you're here.
Fast food cats.
So how do you find a cat in a? That sounds like a bad sentence, but how do you find a cat in a fast food restaurant?
And I like in the parking lots, they're just kind of there's like a Sonic near us that has like a cat colony in the woods next to them, and across the street is where that Chick-fil-A is. And my stepdaughter was there, and she saw the cat, and the cat like ran right over to her, so she grabbed it and brought it home. And we were gonna find a place to foster it, but you know how that goes. Definitely didn't leave our house. That was Steve, actually. Steve is that cat. So you guys met him.
I love that.
That would be funny if your cat's name was Wendy or something. Wendy's or something.
Carl's Jr.
Yeah.
Hey, Denny's.
Just to let you know, we're sponsored by Heartbeat Hot Sauce. So what I'll do is I'll reach out to your publicist. And if you want to give us a mailing address, we'll send you guys out a bunch. They're great.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. They're a really, really great hot sauce company from Thunder Bay, Ontario. They do a ton of stuff they've done collabs with In Flames, with Korn. And their hot sauce is really good. So they'll want to send you guys a bunch. So if you want to, I'll just let the publicist know if you want to, I'll ask her for your mailing address, and then we'll have it all sent out to you guys.
So Joel's wife grew up in Thunder Bay.
Oh, nice. Very cool. I mean, I'm sure there's a connection because they do a ton of collabs with a ton of really, really cool bands. They have a collab with Dustin Poirier, and they're really, really good peeps. So they've been.
It's a smallish, comparatively small place anyway. So I'm sure people know.
Oh, Thunder Bay. Yeah. Well, yeah, I've played Thunder Bay. It's interesting.
The only time I ever played Thunder Bay was in a house. It was like a punk metal house. We played the basement, and it was fucking rad.
There used to be this really cool club called Crocs and Rolls, and we used to play there all the time. And it was the best.
I played this basement
the
twice.
Place that we played. I don't remember what it was called. It was a long time ago, but that's where Joel and his wife met. It was with Killswitch, yeah.
Oh, it's Killswitch, yeah. So it was definitely a bigger place for sure.
No way.
But it was probably 4. Yeah. Because it was Frank, Frank Lafredo was the promoter, and if you guys came through, it would have been him promoting you guys for sure. He's the only guy in town there that does stuff.
Yeah, I do remember one thing. The show before, Howard completely blew his voice out, and we weren't sure if we were going to be able to do that show the next day. Thunder Bay was in that, or like 2 days later or something. And it got back to us that whoever was promoting the show said something like, if you guys cancel this show, you'll set the scene back 10 years in Thunder Bay.
Oh,
which
wow.
we thought was an absolutely ridiculous thing to say. Like, that doesn't mean anything.
That's fucking
just all
such
laughed
a
at it.
strange thing to say, but it's actually a compliment to you guys.
It's kind of, it was just silly, but yeah, we didn't cancel. The scene apparently is thriving, and Joel
thank God.
There, so it all worked out.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you have to. The stakes are high. You got to push through, man.
Yeah, I guess so.
Thanks again, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no worries. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Really nice fellow. Always nice to meet a fellow animal lover.
Yeah.
But it was really cool that every time we did a close up of him, there would just be like this scene happening in the background,
like a menagerie going on over there, man. Yeah, but there's something about animal lovers that you gotta love them. You gotta love them because and especially when you hear the people that rescue, and I love his story about the fast food cats. I mean, it's pretty cool. It's pretty
well,
cool.
when I heard about fast food cats, I'm like, it's like everything Melissa claims McDonald's does is true.
Well, yeah, there's so many jokes that are, so you could just open up the entire world to like an incredible amount of jokes when you think about a fast food cat. And why did you find them in McDonald's, or were they running away from
running away from being a part of McDonald's?
Yeah, exactly. A nugget. All right. So listen, we've got a lot of great stuff coming up. Well, I want to let people know that we were going to switch the format a little bit here on Rockman Power Hour. So if you've been tuning in weekly, we're going to be going bi-weekly. So what that means is that we'll be doing 2 episodes a month of the formal podcast of this long form or longish form conversation. But we will be doing a lot of other cool things like movie reviews. We're going to be talking about shows when they come out, and just maybe coming on here and shooting the shit without guests, maybe with guests. But it's kind of weird because we're going to be doing less episodes per se, but probably more content in the long run. So make sure if you are listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube and listening on your podcast platforms, make sure you are locked into our socials. So go to our Facebook page, go to our Instagram page, the Rockman Power Hour, and make sure that you're following us there, because there will be a lot of exclusive content on those platforms as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too. Some of my favorite podcasts in the world, like I love this podcast called Pod Meets World, where some of the stars of Boy Meets World are getting together and they'll go through episodes. But then there's these other episodes where they're just shooting the shit and having fun, or just talking about their weekend. And I think that your life maybe, my life may be adjacent, but your life is interesting enough where I'm like, hey, Jason, what did you do this week? Because even though we talk to each other every day, I'll look on your social media and you're like, so here I am in Cornwall at a wedding on New Year's Eve. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
You did not mention a single thing ever about this might be happening, or here I am like working with the Habs and here I am this. How do you do you? You seem exhausting. I'm exhausted just expressing this.
I'm just exhausted. I mean, one thing I did do was we talked about this the other day. I went back to working out regularly because I hit a fucking slump, man. And the thing with working out is it's a habit forming thing that when you're in the swing of it and you're in the groove, it's great. But it's the kind of thing that once you break that cycle, or you break that habit for any reason, for me, it's always the same thing. It's classic. I'll go on a vacation. I'll go on a 2-week vacation. And then when I come back, I don't go back. And that's always the thing that happens to me. And that's always what kind of derails me. But I was going in about 6 years ago. I started going to this place called Orange Theory, and it was great because it was an hour workout. All your progress was tracked through a heart rate monitor. You got your stats at the end through an app. It was like a class setting for an hour where you do some cardio, you do some weights, you do some rowing. You have an instructor. They have music that's playing. The atmosphere is very much like you don't really even feel like you're working out. And I really enjoyed it. But then the pandemic happened, the gyms closed down, and I kind of got derailed from that. And then I wasn't doing anything for a while. And it really was tough. And then when I got let go from Shom, I worked out with my friend Steve Frischman, and we worked out together for about 3 weeks. And then that situation changed because I went away, and the gym we were going to do it at wasn't doing it anymore. And it was just, so I had kind of was in this like 7 or 8 month slump, and I went back to Orange Theory in November 5th. And I've been going quite regularly since, and I feel 100 times better. So asking how I do all these things, well, that gives me energy. Believe it or not, it just gives me a lot more energy to do stuff. And that's what I want. I mean, as you get older, like I just turned 54, man. I don't want to, I want to enjoy life. I want to live. Life's for the living. And I want to, I like being alive, and I like living and doing stuff. So I want to try to do as healthy as I can.
Yeah. Do you ever find, I guess we gotta like this is stuff that you'll hear in the episodes coming or whatever, but there's so much about you that's interesting, is that we do talk about your musical side, but a friend of Melissa and I named Olivier Renault, who is the star of multiple Christmas movies, but he's an incredible dramatic actor. He could do anything, but he is the star of these films. He upon meeting you, he's a big Slaves on Dope fan, and and there's a part of me that takes that kind of for granted, that there are these huge Slaves on Dope fans, because I never experienced Slaves on Dope in your heyday. I even missed you guys by like 10 minutes when you guys played Jam Neige. I was like, waiting in line to get inside. Like I just missed you.
Right.
So it's interesting. I never saw Slaves on Dope in the Slaves on Dope original period of you playing, but I did experience when you guys came back and were making your own music videos, and that's personally my favorite era and my favorite albums. I like the last two albums more than the other ones because I got to experience them in real time. But what's it like when you run into like an Olivier Renault, who's a very successful person in his own right, a grown up who's, you know, all of a sudden turned back into a teenager when he
it was weird, you know, it was weird, not weird like that he was weird, or it's a weird feeling, but it's a feeling that I don't know, man. I remember when we started getting, you know, people started kind of noticing our band, and I remember at the time, a guy I was working with who was sponsoring me in AA. I don't want to break his anonymity, but his name's Peter. And I remember saying to him, like, what do I do when someone says all this stuff? Like, I immediately will say, like, someone will go, oh my God, I love what you do. You're amazing. Like, good. And I'll immediately say something stupid to dismantle it, or to like kind of, you know, disarm it by going, well, you obviously have really shitty taste, or like, you know, something. And he says, no, don't do that. Like, why would you say something stupid like that? He goes, just say thank you. It's so much easier. Just say thank you. I appreciate it. And that's what I do. And it doesn't stop the fact that it's fucking weird. Because to me, I'm like, but I understand it, because I have those moments too, where I'll meet somebody and be like, holy shit, like, fuck, man, like, I really, really enjoy what you do. And I enjoyed what you do. And it's happened to me so many times professionally. Just, I've been, you know, around people where I'm like, wow, man, like you, but at the same time, you kind of, I think when you're on the receiving end of it, you just realize it's a nice thing to be acknowledged for something you've done, you know? And what was funny was that we were in the kitchen, and Mel introduced us, and she wanted Nathan to meet Olivier because Nathan wants to become an actor. So my son. So we were kind of introducing them together, and then he's like, you look familiar. I don't know where I might know you from. And I'm like, well, I mean, maybe the podcast with Ryan, because you're friends, you might have watched. He goes, no, I don't think it's that. And I go, well, maybe Comic-Con. And he goes, I don't think it's that. And I'm like, well, maybe I worked at Show'em for a long time. He goes, oh, I never really listened to the radio station. And then I was like, last thing might be this. And I was like, well, I wasn't a band. And when I said the name of the band, that was when he was like, whoa. And he started telling a story about how he bought our record. And I think he was in Malaysia or in I can't remember, but he was somewhere where he bought our record, and he was like 15 or 16. Anyways, but yeah, it was a cool little moment for sure. Definitely. And a very nice guy, like really nice guy.
Well, kudos for your record getting to Malaysia in the first place.
I don't know. I don't know if it was Malaysia. Like, I don't want to.
It doesn't matter if it's farther than Delaware. Like, good job.
Oh, it was. Yeah. I mean, that record had a worldwide release, so it was released everywhere. It's kind of cool.
There you go. But yeah, and also Slaves on Dope have a very strong like resurgence of interest in South America right now. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, there's a bit of, you know, there's
hey, stop disarming it, Jason.
There's a couple of people that talk, you know, they'll message and say that, you know, they would love to see us play again somewhere one day, but you never know. Who knows?
I know exactly how you feel of wanting to kind of deflect a compliment or be self-derogatory or something. It's like, listen, man, that album that had the big impact it's 25 years ago, you know, wow.
Like if I was to go up to you and go, hey man, like 25 years ago, you did this thing, you would be like, oh, fucking, like it was 25 years ago. Like,
well, 25 years ago, I was 15 and I was playing in a band that, though we weren't very good per se, I would say, and that's not me deflecting. That's just math. When you look at it, I look at the old tapes. However, us jumping around on stage with really, really basic songs inspired a lot of Montreal bands because they're like, is that all it takes?
Yeah. Okay, well,
cool.
That's, you know, there's no doubt that what we did for what we were, you know, at the time was very, it was unique, you know, but we'll definitely we should do an episode when we talk about this more, you know.
Yeah.
We could talk about it. Maybe this year, cause it's the 25th anniversary, we can do something. Maybe we'll try to grab Kevin and maybe even the other guys. We'll see. Who knows? Yeah. Stranger things have happened. That's for sure. But you know what's not strange?
No.
Heartbeat Hot Sauce, the heartbeat of the Rockman Power Hour. So make sure you try our hot sauce. If you haven't tried Heartbeat, it is the greatest. This is the greatest. This is Poirier's Louisiana style hot sauce. And use our promo code Rockman20 right down there. You'll get 20% off your entire order, and that code never expires. And it really, really is the best hot sauce you'll ever try in your life. A big thanks to our friends at Studio House Designs who keep us outfitted and keep us looking cool. Thanks to our friends at Audio Technica Canada. Shout out, who are great friends of the show as well. Thanks to our producer.
May I say more about Audio Technica?
Yeah, please do.
Though I am not wearing my Audio Technica headphones today because we haven't recorded in like 3 weeks, and I had an enormous Christmas party in which I put all my stuff away for safekeeping because I wanted to mirror the excitement that and I wanted to mirror the energy that Kevin McAllister in Home Alone used with a bunch of Michael Jordan cutouts and trains when he was trying to fool the wet bandits into thinking his house was full. I'm like, I know this is bullshit, but at the same time, this is rad. So anyway, as a precaution, I put away my headphones, so I'm going to find that. But I just want to say about Audio Technica is that I got this brand new turntable that's amazing, and I don't have the number of it per se, but it's this incredible one that has a Blu-ray attachment, and it is such a fucking game changer. You've been saying for years, like, oh, your turntable matters so much, and I'm like, yeah, whatever, old man. And and I put it on, and all of a sudden I think what it is like I hear drums in a way I've never heard them before.
Yep.
And a low end, and I'm like, holy shit. And more importantly, from Lanois, our favorite vinyl store, Pepe hooked me up with a secondhand copy of the Ramones box set from the 1980s. And if you listen to our older episodes, you'll hear about how I was pining over it and wanting to buy it. And in the box set, though it was secondhand, it had never been opened before. I opened up the album Halfway to Sanity, and with my old turntable was saddened to realize that the thing was slightly warped and kind of like had a waterbed effect to it when it would play, and the needle would kind of miss and skip. On this brand new turntable, it held it like it was in a headlock and played it perfectly.
Yeah.
And that's another thing about getting a great turntable, especially from Audio Technica. It's that an album that was unlistenable before is now listenable. The only thing I can tell everybody out there is make sure you keep your vinyls clean, because up until this point, I did not realize this could happen. But at one point, the vinyl started to sound bad, and I was wondering, did I do something wrong to this machine? And I'm looking everywhere except where I should be looking. And then I look at the stylus and realize that there was an almost miniature kitten level of hair that had built up around it and was fucking up my playback.
Yeah, you gotta always blow, you gotta blow on your needle. You gotta you gotta take care of it. You gotta get a little brush, like
I did.
One of these little brushes. Audio Technica have them.
Yeah,
these are great.
Yeah. So anyway, Audio Technica, my mom, that's a birthday present from my mom. Just beautiful new turntable that has Blu-ray capabilities. I can now play it in 2 different rooms. I got my sound bar in the office. It's still in the hallway, plugged into another speaker. Nice. I've been happy as a pig in shit since getting this thing, so cannot recommend it enough.
This is good stuff. That's why we love Audio Technica.
Absolutely.
Cool. Big thanks to our producer, Julia Kajerski. Thanks to my co-host, Ryan Stick. And thanks to all of you for joining us. And we'll see you next time on the Rockman Power Hour. Hey, thanks so much for watching the podcast. We really appreciate your support. And if you're enjoying the podcast, click this link right over here to watch the next episode, and click right over here and subscribe. And that way you won't miss anything.